welcome to the best of everything. This is Ruben Paul. We are live. I don't even know what day this is of the quarantine, but I'm happy to be alive. All is well. I'm excited. As usual, we got my annoying brother from another mother, the bane of my existence, the guy who annoys me more than anybody else on this damn planet with his OCD, the one and only, my brother from another mother, Mr. Johnny Sanchez. Where you at, Johnny? See how you get on my damn nerves? He ain't even here, man. See what I got to put on? So let's get to the good part. The good part is I got my brother, my comedy brother, all the way from Atlanta, live, the one and only, Mr. Rodney Perry. How you doing, brother?
Ruben Paul, what's up, baby boy?
Man, I'm yo, brother. We alive. I'm happy to see you, brother.
Why did we ever do podcasts not like this?
Yeah, the fact, with this new technology, now
it's not new. We just wasn't using it.
Exactly. Now we got Johnny here. So
Johnny Sanchez.
Okay. So the two brothers was on time, and the Mexican was late.
That's about right. That's about right.
That's about right.
Hey, why you playing though?
Turn your mic on, Johnny. We can't even hear you, man.
The Mexicans are not observing the quarantine. They out there cutting grass and building stuff. It's amazing.
Is that true, Johnny? Is that what's going on right now, brother? Johnny, we can't hear you, man. Hit the mute button.
It's not that. I had an issue with my headphones too.
Is it your headphones, Johnny? What's going on, man? Actually, Rodney, it might be a better show without Johnny.
Hilarious.
He acted like we didn't do this last week. Are you ready, Johnny?
Nope.
Try it now, Johnny.
Try it now.
Try it now.
Whose joke is that? That's AJ Jamal.
AJ Jamal. Yeah, we got people chiming in already. Somebody asked, is Johnny in a closet?
well, his sexuality is not about that.
Yeah, it's not about. But Rodney, let's just Johnny. Nothing.
We cannot hear you.
We can't hear you for some reason, Johnny. We heard you perfectly before. Excuse us with our technical difficulties.
Tell them to go out and come back in.
Blow on it. You, Johnny, exit, and then come back in. Exit and then just come back in.
Is that the city of LA behind us? That's dope.
Yeah, it's a little backdrop. See, the cool thing that's cool about this program is you can add a lot of different stuff. The goal is hopefully one day you can integrate it to Instagram, like we were talking about early. So
Instagram just gangster. They like no.
I know, but they're gonna have to relent, because I just think a lot of people want that option to be able to go on with multiple people. One at a time is cool, but to be able to do it in real time, live with multiple people, I think will be really cool. But I like your setup in the back, man. Tell me how that all came about, and when and why and how.
So I bought this, dude. When I bought it for the road, so I would go in the cities, and it's a pop up, so it crushes down to like this big, right? There we go, Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. He's describing his backdrop. Go ahead.
So the sign is collapsible, so it collapsed. But I took it out one time, and somebody broke it, the bottom of it. So to still use it, I just put up in my office. It just kind of works for anything I'm doing on social, anything like that. It's just kind of cool to have the branding and the logo, different stuff I got going on.
I think it looks great, man. The cool thing about it, it looks like you actually made it just for the quarantine.
I did not.
I'm like, shit, Rodney's prepared, man.
Rodney was ready. Rodney started I'm the outbreak monkey.
Yeah. So Rodney, since we started talking about the quarantine, how's life been for you in Atlanta? What's going on there? Because LA is completely shut down.
Well, first of all, during the quarantine, I realized I'm sexy as hell from the shoulders up. As long as you don't look at me from no, man. It's a new normal for us, man. As comedians, I mean, we're not working, but we're working. I mean, we're figuring out. We doing live. All the old comics is going live, son.
Yes.
Those of us that's been around 20, 30 years, we figuring this out. But the funniest thing is to see like the guys that's older than us.
Yeah,
don't understand the shit at all. I saw Bill Bellum the other day. Bill was about to put on some glasses. How did that help me with that?
Calling the kid?
Yeah, he called the kid. But I think it's a new normal, dude. And there's ways to make money. I booked like a corporate event. My sister's accountant, and she's a Delta. So I'm doing a group of Deltas next week for a couple few $100. I'm going in for 15 minutes and doing like kind of a version of stand-up for them.
So let me ask you.
Oh, interesting.
Go ahead, Johnny. You had a question?
Well, yeah. So where are you guys limited with the amount of people right now? That's why I'm curious. Is there going to be? Are you going to do it from your place, or are you actually going to physically go down there and do some stuff?
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'll be right here just like we're talking, but they can, I think they're going to have like 50 people in the room, in a virtual room. And so I'll be right here just like I'm with y'all, and I'll talk. And this is crazy. I got a whole Corona set. I'm ready. Dude, I got games. Hold on. I got a whole show. Ruben Paul, Family Feud.
Yes, I saw you doing that.
Family Feud is gangster. Dude, I can do an hour with Family Feud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
What was
that? I meant to do this one. I wrote
what happened?
Wait.
What happened?
Difficult. Something splashed on the bottom of the screen. But Rodney, talk about this real quick. You've been doing virtual open mics, man.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the concept? Why are you doing it? And how has the public received it?
So Ali Sadiq, very good comic out of Houston, he came to me and he wanted me to perform on the Corona Comedy Club, right? Gotcha. So he does it Wednesdays and Fridays. He has a DJ, they play music, and you do a set, 7 to 10 minute set, right? So I did that, and I was like, cool. I was like, how do I do a version of that without like doing exactly what he's doing? And so I was like, yo, do an open mic. And as comedians, do 3 or 4 weeks, you're not going on stage, you kind of need to do a set somewhere.
Something, yeah.
And so I decided to do an open mic, and it's all these young comics out there that ain't never worked with Rodney Perry.
Gotcha.
They ain't never got a chance to do it. So I'm hosting, I bring them on, and they do a set. Rube, you did a great set.
Man, it was, and here's the thing, me and Johnny, we talked in private, like, hell nah, man, we ain't gonna be doing no stand-up online in audience. And then the next thing I know, I accidentally go into Rodney's live, and Rodney's like, come on, Rube, don't do me like that, Rube. Come on, Rube. And I ended up doing the set. And I remember telling Johnny, I was like, it was kind of cool because what I did mentally, Rodney, was I was performing for you.
Yes.
So
it's
kind of cool because we know as comics, if we can make our peers laugh, we don't really care about.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Here it is in the nutshell, guys. Here it is, Johnny, Ruben. This is what it is. It's performing at a radio station to promote your show Friday morning with a bad DJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
With that DJ,
there.
yeah, the DJ who wouldn't acknowledge any of your stuff.
You just
let
go.
you ramble. Yeah. You know, Rodney, it's interesting because Ruben did yours, and then I had done the Laugh Factory one, which is a live streaming there at the club, but that was 25 minutes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, man. But what I kept
telling not being able to hear an audience, that's a long time. That's forever.
Right. And the only other people are the manager, the camera guys, and like three other comics who are going to do the show. So you're getting like a couple laughs from your fellow, but what I told Ruben was I focused on, I just really focused on just like what Ruben said. I said, I just went towards the camera. I focused on the camera, knowing that it's coming through to the people at home, and you know the
and no crowd work. No crowd work.
no crowd work. And the interesting thing is the rhythm and the timing, of course, is different because there's no need to pause because you're not getting the long laugh. Yeah, it's boom boom. That's a better analogy because I was telling Ruben, I go, it's sort of like how we do our podcast or whatever. You can sometimes do a bit, but the radio station is the perfect way to think about it. What we had to do, sometimes those guys would have us come in. There was times, I know you've done this one-on-one with some guy. Hey, Johnny, what you been up to? And they want you to do 5-7 minutes.
They be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for those listening, we have a special guest, Rodney Perry, here. And Rodney, here's another interesting thing about this. So you guys don't know, Rodney is a very accomplished stand-up comedian. We've been friends for a long time. One of the best in the business, and I'm proud to call him a friend.
Right.
And me and Rodney talked about this a while ago, and it's great to bring this up with Johnny because, you know, both Rodney and Johnny coming up in this comedy game were known as physical comedians. Now, as we've gotten older, you know, I know Johnny is less physical. I know Rodney is less physical. Like, yo, Rodney, I don't know if you've ever seen Johnny work. He was probably about as physical as you. Now you'd be lucky if Johnny takes 3 steps to either side.
It's like it's still in you, Johnny. You feel it. It's still in you, but it's like you're like an old boxer. You just pick your battles.
Just pick. It's like stand. I do a little bit of pacing. I think the pacing has made up a little bit for the physicality, but I still got those pops every now and then.
Right.
It's a bit, and then there's something that needs to be physical. I'll do it, but I go whereas before, because the one I was. Remember the girl you used to do with no legs, but the brothers be checking out her booty. Didn't care if she had. You were on the floor. You know what I mean? And then the guy is on the floor, crawling over her to hit. You know, like that kind of. I used to do stuff like that. You're just on the ground, up, moving back and forth. So I feel the same. Yeah, it's the same thing.
This is the deal. It's harder to get up.
Yeah.
I can still get down. Yeah. Get up. I got. That's the problem.
And you know what else too, I'm sorry, Rube, but what else too, Rodney, is it was feeling the feeling the pain the next day.
Wow.
You know, once I got into my 40s and stuff, then I was like, oh wow, what's wrong with my hip, or why is my back sore? And I went, man, I just
on stage last night.
Because I was on stage last night, man. So I feel you. AJ Jamal had told me that years ago when I started at the Comedy Store. He goes, yeah, man, you jumping all over the place and this and that. He said, you know, come talk to me in about 15 years, man. Because I guess I didn't.
Get out of here, old man.
But I didn't know AJ was that physical. When I got to the store in mid late 90s, I guess AJ had pulled it back a little bit compared to what he used to do, but he was still some physicality. But he told me he used to do handstands and all kinds of other stuff. So I didn't even know that side AJ Jamal.
We're also better comedians. Like we know how to work words.
Yeah. Words.
You're better at words than you were as a younger man. So I mean, so I'm still physical to a point. but like I have to make myself stand up sometimes. Like,
wow.
like
Are you
do certain bits seated.
Yeah, you want to be seated. Wow.
Some stuff I'm doing seated in a chair or a stool, and I'm like, Rodney, stand up. Stand up. Do the bit. You know, I have to make myself be physical sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, I didn't know you were sitting on a stool now. That's interesting.
Well, let me say this as a friend and as a fan of both of you guys. It's interesting to see the evolution. Like I laugh to myself when I see you guys perform now because I look at the other guys like, man, you should have seen them 10 years ago. You know, so but just see you guys still be just as effective on stage. And to be able to execute everything you guys wanted, it just really shows the work you guys put in, man, to really mentally go, okay, I ain't doing that no more.
Well,
I need to transition into that.
I won't take the credit for saying I ain't doing it no more. I had a stroke.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a stroke 3 years ago, so that affected my physicality. And when I first came back, I literally couldn't do a lot of the stuff. And so as I came back and got more physically astute, I kind of gained some of it back, but then I learned that the words work. Yeah.
Well, let me see.
Yeah, you're gonna ask him about that.
Yeah, you brought up the stroke, Rodney.
Yeah.
So I remember, how long has it been now?
It's 3 years.
And I remember finding out about it and hitting you immediately as soon as I found out. And surprisingly, you like called me back, and I'm like, "Well, hey!"
I was in the hospital. Like, please talk to me.
And the thing that I found fascinating to like the nature of a comedian, the fact that you knew you weren't feeling well before the show. And tell me about the process. I won't give away what you told me, but it kind of blew me away. Where you're like, "Rube, there's no way."
I'm an idiot.
You're basically, Rodney was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die on stage. Kind of elaborate like what that day was up until the stroke, because I think anybody listening, it's sometimes you just don't know what the signs are, you know?
Okay, the signs are this. The American Stroke Association, they use an acronym called FAST, F-A-S-T. So face drooping, arm weakness, speech slurring. If you notice any of those things, it's time to go to the hospital fast.
Okay.
My speech slurred 2 weeks before I was even in trouble.
Whoa!
What happens is you go with blood pressure, at least, you go in and out of the stroke zone. And so I'm on the phone with my assistant. I said something. I said, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, what was that? I was like, you heard that? I thought it was in my head. But I had no idea of the symptoms. I didn't know what to look for.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I'm on the road. I was in Charlotte 1 week, and it was a crazy week in Charlotte because I don't know if you remember, they had like a siege in Charlotte where you couldn't. They had the military was in the street. It was crazy. I was there that week. So the following week, I'm in Denver. I'm thinking I'm sick because of the tear gas. I ain't even considering that I'm having a stroke. I'm like, yo, I think they got me. You know. So I'm talking to Joy Wells. Joy was telling me about Mickey. You know Mickey Gordon?
I know the name.
Mickey Gordon was a female comedian. She had a stroke 2 days before me.
Oh, wow.
So Joy was telling me about Mickey. He's like, yo, Mickey had a stroke. And as he was telling me her symptoms, I was like, yo, I feel like that right now. Right?
Wow.
So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I go to Walmart.
Sorry to cut you off.
Did
you tell Joey that you were feeling like that at the time, or you just thought that?
I did not. I thought it to myself.
Okay.
So Joey and I wrapped that call. I talked to my other homeboy, Hank Denson. Hank used to be like a nurse. So I'm like, Hank, man, I don't feel good, man. I was talking to Joey. He said, go get your blood pressure checked. So I got myself together, went to Walmart. If you ever been to the Denver Improv, you can see Walmart. So I go to Walmart. I take the shuttle, drag myself into Walmart, check my pressure. my blood pressure was 221 over 140.
Oh.
So this is when Rodney Perry becomes the idiot. I still go to do 2 shows that night.
Jesus.
I should have went to the emergency room when I saw those numbers.
Yeah.
So I do 2 shows that night. A fucking amazing set. I'm killing. I got it. I still got it on my phone. I still got the sets on my phone, but I was leaning. So instead of just standing there, I was leaning on the wall the whole set.
Oh.
And my brother, Ryan Evans, he took me to the VA. I'm a vet. He took me to the VA after the show. I thought they would lower my pressure and send me home. I went to ICU for the next 8 days and had the stroke at the hospital. Lost the use of my left side. Had to learn how to use my left hand again and walk again over about 40 or 50 day period.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, you know, I love you, man. I'm glad that you've recovered. Even in talking to you when we talk, I mean, I'm sure you can, if there's any, do you feel like you're back to where you were before, or do you notice some differences in your day-to-day?
I still have some deficit. It took me probably 2 years to get my balance back. So if a heart attack happens to your heart, a stroke is a brain attack. So
yeah,
okay,
your brain goes through a trauma like that. It takes a couple of years to heal, and so my balance was off. You know, although I was back to work, living my life, but my balance was still off, and so so that took some time. And now, even now, I notice little stuff. I can't let myself get really fatigued. You know, because it kind of shows up when I'm tired.
So, Rodney, let me ask you this, and then Johnny, you can jump in if you have any questions.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What did they tell you when you got to emergency? What did they say to you when you arrived?
Wow, that's nobody's ever asked me that. So I have sketchy memories of this time, but I remember there was a doctor. He had handlebar mustache, and they were evaluating whether they had to give me a heart operation.
Wow!
And so they had to go through a process of checking my heart, because what happens if a stroke is like, well, high blood pressure is like an old car running hot, and so I was just running hot, and so when you're running hot, it affects your kidneys, it affects your heart, it affects everything.
Wow.
And so I remember this dude going through, and I was kind of in and out of fucking, you know, awareness, and he was cracking jokes, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna make it. You give me a doctor that's fucking in here cracking jokes, and I'm a comedian. I'm gonna die. And so that was like a little sign. So I was having little thoughts like that. The weirdest moment. I don't know if you've ever had a CAT scan, but I had a CAT scan, and that shit was like, because you're kind of bound
and you can't move.
And then like your brain is going through all this psychedelic, you know, imagery and shit. It was really crazy, and that's a crazy memory. I don't think I ever talked about it. And but this is the crazy part, Rube, Johnny. The best thing I had going for me is I had no idea how bad it was. I was trying to get to. I had a show booked. Kevin Hart had this little series he was shooting, and I had booked it, and it was like a $30,000 hit. I'm like, look, Doc, you need to get me out of here in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And they was looking at me like, you crazy.
Yeah.
You can't walk, dude. How the fuck can you do a comedy show in 2 weeks?
Wow.
But that was what was driving me, you know, as I went through my rehab and stuff.
Yeah. Johnny, you had something?
Yeah, you know, I had a couple things, but first of all, it sounds to me like I suffer from high blood pressure, and I've been on high blood pressure medication for years because it's hereditary. It's nothing about my diet or anything like that.
And Johnny gives me high blood pressure. When I don't have high blood pressure.
That's about right. That's about right. Yeah, contagious. Yeah. So so it sounds to me like with those numbers, because I'm well aware of the numbers, you weren't on anything. And when and how long had it been since you had a physical?
Great question. I get diagnosed 5 years before I had a stroke.
With high blood pressure.
High blood pressure. So I start taking the medication. My penis goes, man. My penis like, yo, Johnny, let me tell you something. My penis failed one time. I was like, I'm not taking this shit. What I'm not gonna be is Mr. Softy around my house.
I mean, I've never even heard.
But that was the core of the reason it affected my libido.
Yeah.
And so now I should have went back to the doc and be like, yo, this is not working for me. I know what I should have done, but I didn't. I just said, I'm not taking it.
Right. Got it.
And so fast forward 5 years later.
5 years.
Answer your other question. When last time I had a physical? 5 years ago.
5 years.
So fast forward 5 years later, and it caught up to me, man. It caught up to me. And
during
my eating habits, everything caught up to me all at once.
Right. And was your because I know before I had gotten on medication, because I fought it too for a while. My doctor kept going, I think you should get on this. And I fought it, man, for a few years as well. Same thing. Finally, he was like, you're consistently at the what's that? It's not there's a term they use, because I was consistently there instead of normal.
Yeah,
but it's in between.
The normal blood pressure is 120 over 80.
Over 80, and I was always in that. 140
over.
145, 149, 150 over 115.
Anything over 3 digits is bad.
Yes. Hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
That's the term.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're consistently
hypertension is the same. It's what it is.
Right. Okay. So I was in not at the high risk, but he goes, you're consistently
you're low level stroke zone.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I was like, I did everything, man. I started walking and jogging more to bring it down. I tried, whatever. And you know what? It is what it is, man. And you just start.
Exercise works, but we're not going to do that shit every day.
Right. And
look how realistic Rodney is. I ain't going to do that shit every day.
We're not going to do that every day. The dieting, the this and that. So I finally got on the high blood pressure medication, and I bought my own monitor.
What do you take?
I take lisinopril. Just 12 milligram.
Right.
It's not a very high dosage, but they'd also been on me for about the same amount of time with my high cholesterol. Again, hereditary.
Right.
I
take a cholesterol pill, a lisinopril, and I take a water pill daily every day.
Okay, I've got the little bit of the water one in the one that they.
That's like a low level blood pressure pill to accompany the lisinopril.
Yeah,
and so the lisinopril don't work on your kidneys. They don't damage your kidneys.
Gotcha. So and I just got on cholesterol medication this time last year, a year ago, and I did a blood test 4 months ago so we could check. I'm doing great. It's normal, but it's funny how we fight these things, man.
Yeah. You look great, Johnny. You look great, man.
Thank you, man.
And but the crazy part is you can look great and be sick as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me
but my point, I guess. Well, let me make, man. You look fantastic, by the way, for having gone through a stroke.
Oh, it could have been way worse,
dude. Yeah. You are very fortunate. It's just interesting to hear you say, you know what, and a lot of people don't understand this, especially for comics, wanting to do that show. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here. I should go do this show regardless how I'm feeling. you know.
I just needed the money.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know, which was absurd at the time. Now that I think.
Well, let me say this. I'm blessed enough, and Johnny being my friend, you know, I know about his high blood pressure. And the only other person that I know that suffered from high blood pressure that's a comic and a friend of mine, I know he won't mind me saying this, is Steve Wilson. And I remember Steve Wilson telling me a story. He was on the road. He wasn't feeling well. He went to the hospital, and they were like, "We can't let you leave." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "By law, we can't let you walk out of here with your blood pressure that high. You're about to have a stroke." And I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" So that was one of the first times I'd heard anything like that. So to hear your story, Rodney, kind of brings into life in the life of a comic. And what would your advice be to not just comics, to people out there to avoid what you came through?
Knowledge is power. Knowing the signs. You know, once you know better, you do better. You know, face drooping, arm weakness, speech slurring, that affects you. Knowing that helped. If I had known that, I wouldn't have had a stroke. And so that's the first line of defense. Other than that, diet and exercise, man.
Yeah. So just for clarity, your body will let you know before the stroke actually happens.
Your body will let you know, but if you don't know what's happening, you don't know.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, your body will definitely give you signs. Absolutely. And now that I know the signs, I'm way more prepared, but I don't know what I don't know either.
Gotcha. Well, Rodney, one thing that I'm glad, you know, they always say, you know, give people their flowers while they're alive. And I'm sure it must have been overwhelming to you to really understand how beloved you are in the comedy community. Like I remember my phone blowing up and me calling other people, and then I'm calling other people like, "Yo, Rodney, my boy, I'm calling that motherfucker direct." You know what I mean? Even if you don't answer, I'm just gonna leave a message to let you know that I love you, that I'm praying for you, that you know you got so much love and support out here. And how did that make you feel? Like you've had you're in the middle, I consider, of a great career, because I still feel like there's a lot more for all of us to do. What was that feeling like for you from the support of the comedy community?
It was dope in terms of this, Rube. So think about it like this. Think about anytime like a comic dies, people always write stories like, you know, one time so-and-so said this to me, and they post pictures. I got to watch that. Like, it was as if I had died. The way people were talking about me, they was like, "Yo, Rodney Perry once told me this. Rodney Perry told me this. This happened then, blah blah." And I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." And so I got to watch it. But on the flip side of it, you know, Chris Spencer reached out to me and said, "Man, we want to do a benefit for you and your family." I'm like, "No, because I'm not dead. Like, that's something y'all do if I go. But right now I'm fighting. Because I'm fighting, no thanks."
Wow.
Wow.
It was those conversations, you know. And comments came through for me, man. Kevin Hart gave me like 20 stacks.
You
know, where I didn't have to worry about my bills while I was down.
Gotcha.
You know,
That's dope. So Rodney, let's talk about your journey. Like I know a lot of this for the listeners out there who are listening to this are watching this. I know a lot of the answer to this question. So you said, you referenced earlier that you were in the military. What branch were you in when you were in the military, for how long?
I was going to ask him that.
I served in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1998. I was stationed in New Orleans my first 4 years, and then I took orders to the Bay Area my second 4 years, because I was trying to get. I knew I wanted to do comedy. I was trying to get to California.
Gotcha.
I had no idea that the Bay Area was 6 hours away. You know, my geography was off. I was like, "Oh man," I was looking at the map. It's like, it's only this far away. I'm going down there every weekend.
Yeah. So, Rodney, it was in New Orleans when you and Dr. Ken connected and was doing improv together.
Dr. Ken John.
What?
Yeah, Johnny.
He was in medical school at the time.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He was in medical school, and him, Harry Ratchford, myself, Harry Ratchford, Kevin Hartnell. We used to do comedy, man, and we did improv at this place called the Monterey Whaling Company. He would come on stage with a little guitar and shit. We was like, "What's wrong with this?"
Yeah, the guitar. I remember the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, and for you guys listening, Dr. Ken is from movies like The Hangover.
Yeah.
He was a stand-up. A lot of people don't know. He is still a stand-up, but he started off as a stand-up comic and doing improv with Rodney in New Orleans. And then you found yourself to the Bay Area. Is that where you started doing stand-up comedy?
No, I was doing stand-up before. I was doing stand-up before I joined the military, to be honest. I started doing stand-up, in Monroe, Louisiana, where my mother's hometown, where I finished high school at. And so I get out of high school in 1988. I started doing stand-up shortly thereafter.
Did not know that.
And but I still kind of missed the waves because I was in my Rudy Poo stage. So when I'm a Rudy Poo, Def Jam is blowing up, right?
Yeah, I understand.
And just as I began to find my way, Comic View happens. And I missed that. I caught the tail end of the Comic View wave. So it was like, timing is everything, But yeah. I wouldn't trade my journey for nobody though. I'm dope.
So
I got a question. I mean, we'll go back to the comedy. I'm just kind of curious, Sada, what was it about the military, number one, that drew you, but why that branch? I'm always curious to see why people choose. I know a friend of mine went in the Navy, and he went in the Navy because he wanted to see the world. He knew he was gonna do a lot of traveling. So what was it? There was something with the military that drew you, and then why that branch? Why the Navy?
Okay, Rodney Perry is not that smart. let's start there. So while in high school, I take a test. One day, just to get out of class, I took a test called the ASVAB test. Right? ASVAB is the competency test for all the branches: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. I scored high on ASVAB. Can you hear me, Johnny?
Johnny, are you?
Oh.
We hear you.
Hold on, he's froze up.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me, Rube?
Yeah, yes. We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
I can't hear you guys.
Hilarious.
Now what happened?
I don't know.
All right, hold on. I'm going to leave and come back.
Go ahead, Johnny. I mean, finish.
Okay, so I took the ASVAB test on a whim. I ended up scoring great. So my senior high school, recruiters started hitting me up. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to college at that point, so I was seriously considering it, right? And so I was like, yo, military. So the Army recruiter was like, dude, bro, he was recruiting me like I was a blue chip athlete. He was taking me out to dinner. I was eating it too. I was eating all this shit, dude. So I hurt my knee playing football that my senior year. So now all of a sudden I'm
What position did you play?
I was a fullback.
Okay, got you. Go ahead.
I got hurt on the kickoff, the very first play of my senior season. I worked so hard, dude, to make the starting squad. I made it and got hurt on the first play of the game on the kickoff. It was horrible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that happens. The Army recruiter's like, yo, we can't do nothing with you now. And my military career was kind of gone. So fast forward, I'm in Louisiana. I'm trying to figure it out. I go visit my family in Chicago. Stand up is in my mind, but I don't know what to do. I don't know to go to the open mics. I don't know. I have no idea.
I can understand that.
So I'm in Chicago visiting my grandmother, laying on the couch, and I hear on the radio Robin Harris is at the Regal Theater.
Whoa.
Chicago, Illinois. My grandmother lives on 77th Street. The Regal Theater is on 79th Street, probably about 3 miles down. I take the bus to the Regal Theater and stand outside and listen to Robin Harris, to what would ultimately be his last performance. He passed away. He passed away that night in his hotel room. So just to give you a glimpse of where I was, I still don't know what to do though. I still don't know how to be a comedian. I don't know what to do. So I go back to Louisiana. I get a job. I'm working at Walmart. I took a job at a shoe store as well. Meanwhile, I'm fucking. So now I got a baby on the way.
Because this is pre-Lisinopril. This is pre.
Oh yeah, I'm Special Johnny back in the day. Yeah.
Totally kidding.
It was many years before Lisinopril.
Yes.
So I got a baby on the way, and my military career, I'm thinking it's never going to happen. I'm walking to work in the hot ass sun, Monroe, Louisiana, and a recruiter asked, could he give me a ride? White car pull up, he's like, hey, yo, can I give you a ride, brother? I'm like, I hope he ain't trying to get no ass, I'm not giving it up.
Did he offer you candy?
I think it was some in a cup holder. It was hot though, dude. So I took the ride, and on this ride, he pitched me the Navy. He was like, hey, man, United States Navy is a great place. I'll get you money for school. I'll get you this. I'll get you that. Boom. I'm like, you know what? I got a baby on the way, man. You know what? Let's do it.
Wow.
When I tell you, maybe 7 days later, I was in the United States Navy. Like, I made
that fast,
and I was gone. And so get this though, get this little brush with stardom. So the way it works, the recruiter recruits you, and they send you off to the military enrollment processing center. They process you, decide what job you're gonna get, things of that nature, right? So I go to MEPS on like a Thursday or Friday evening. I don't have to be processed to the next day. The hotel I was staying in, I'm kind of mulling around, outside, getting some fresh air. I meet Chris Rock.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, dude, you're Chris Rock. He's like, yeah, I know, he going. Now, Chris Rock, the only thing he's really done at this point is like Partners in Crime. Right? It was very early in his career.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm joining the Navy tomorrow. Take me with you. He was like, what? He's like, I can't hook you up. I'm barely in myself. I was like, all right. That is just a brush. He goes about his life. I go about my life. I go and I join the Navy, and I spend the next 8 years in the Navy. So I didn't have any forethought like to join that branch. If that it was just the recruiter.
It literally fell in your lap
in
a weird way.
He sold me,
yeah. He sold you, and obviously you did 2 terms.
Yes.
Right. You re-upped. So you obviously were somewhat happy with that branch.
I was a great sailor. I was a really good sailor. I was
awesome.
I was good. I was a good sailor, man. Like I got friends that stayed in and did 20 years and they reached all these great heights. I was like, dude, I was better than you. I would have been like my buddy Harry, right? Harry Ratchford, that worked for Kevin, right? Harry got in trouble. He was shoplifting one time at the Navy store. Not really stealing like nothing, but he was changing prices. And they caught him, but they didn't catch him. Like they was like the color of the tag changed. I'm like, that could be anything. And he went on and he all of a sudden became honest. I'm like, dude, all the lies you done told, you want to be honest now? And I had to stand up before the captain and everybody and be like, this is my man. He made a mistake, but this ain't nothing to break him. Like that was my dude. So, I stood, I stood there on his behalf, and I was like his lawyer. It was crazy.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah, we was in the Navy together.
Wow.
So So I met you when you were in the Bay Area. That's when I think we first. I think that's when we first.
I felt like we met when I was in LA.
What was the transition time between the Bay Area and LA?
I moved to LA in 1998.
Take your phone off the table, Rube.
Oh, okay.
I moved to LA in 98.
Okay.
So,
and when were you in Oakland?
I was in Oakland from 94 to 98. So I don't think I met you till after 98.
Were you doing stand-up in Oakland at the time?
Absolutely. You remember about the End Zone the other day?
Mm-hmm.
The End Zone, Jeffrey's Inner Circle, Sweet. I did comedy at Sweet Jimmy's. Have you ever did comedy at Sweet Jimmy's?
We did comedy at Sweet Jimmy's together, Rodney. We did a gig together at Sweet Jimmy's, man. We did a run together. You were in town, and Indian Tone. You remember Indian Tone?
Mm-hmm.
Indian Tone brought me up to do a show, and you were on the show with me. I want to say it was me.
Headlining.
Yes, I want to say it was me, you, and Nima Williams. And
that was like the first time we met.
Yeah, because I think you were like in town. There was like, yo, this cat named Rodney Perry. I'm like, cool, and you was cool as hell. We did that, and then the next night we did the End Zone. But I mean, not the End Zone. The next night we did the Oak Tree with Daniel Dugar.
Right.
But Joey Wells told me a separate Oak Tree story with you.
Yeah. I realized it was a different story when you talked about it the other day.
Yeah.
But so when I think of Sweet Jimmy's, this is my Sweet Jimmy story. Mm-hmm. So I'm Don Bubba Bexley from Sanford and Son used to host Sweet Jimmy's. Bubba.
Okay.
Bubba at this point in his life was confined to a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
So he would host the show. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, very funny young man. What's his name? Come to the stage, show some love of Rodney Perry. He would bring you up, but the stage was on like a 3-foot landing, so he never left the stage. He in a wheelchair laughing. You finished? He come back. All right, good job.
That's hilarious,
dude.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So crazy, man. So many good times in the Bay, though, man. The Bay was a great comedy town, man. Our talent pool, myself, Cat Williams was in there. Lou Nell was in there. We was all at the same time, at the same incubator. So it was a great time, man.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people thought when I first started out that I was from the Bay. Because you know, when you
go over there,
and you're looking for work, the Bay Area was the only place that would have you work. You know, End Zone, Jeffrey's, Oak Tree, Sweet Jimmy. I mean, there was just so many places over the years. So literally somebody like, hey man, you want to come do a gig? And I go, yeah. And it's like, it's $100. And I'd drive to Oakland for $100 and and I'd come back with nothing, but I got
got to work. You got the headline.
Yes.
You know, Because like when I moved to LA, all my headline and stuff was going back to the Bay.
Absolutely.
You know, Dave Tribble, them runs.
Mm-hmm. See, I never did a Tribble run, man.
Oh, I remember his name.
Yeah. Huh. Rodney did.
I did Dave Tribble. I did Dave Tribble as a feature, not a headliner, as a feature. And my headliner, like, so usually you meet the headliner First City and y'all kind of ride together. Yeah. He would not ride with me.
Oh, wow.
Dude, first time I was ever in a brothel was in Winnemucca, Nevada. I didn't have the money to get no sex, but the girl was black and she hadn't seen no black people, so she let me come in her brothel and she talked to me for like 45 minutes. I remember like it was yesterday, Ruben. She's from Louisiana.
Did you think he was going somewhere else when he said she let me come in her brothel?
She let me come in her brothel.
In her brothel.
I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it.
No, but we were both thinking, where did she let you come in? It ended up being just a brothel.
Right. This is the best of everything after dark.
Yeah. Hey, there's no censorship on this, Rodney, so you can say whatever you need to say.
Oh, whatever you want, man.
But yeah, that was crazy, and it was all the way it was organized was crazy because you should go cities in order, but you would go Winnemucca, Nevada, right? Then you would go to Mountain Home, Idaho. Then you come back across to. You go Billings, Montana. You know, it was crazy, man. But that was probably the dopest time of my life, and you know, just to go through those moments. And I had a story. You know, as I tell my kids, sometimes you go through stuff just for the story.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this, Rodney. So you're sharing with us some of your early journeys of being a comic. I kind of want to fast forward a little bit to when you started, like your first TV credit. Was that Comic View? Was your first TV credit doing stand up?
I think so.
And
so get this.
Go ahead.
I do Comic View. I do fucking Comic View. My first time on television, I get the crickets. Do y'all remember that? They gave. It was a season on Comic View where they would drop your sound out and play cricket sounds over your set.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh wow!
I didn't know
you would literally get the crickets. It's crazy. So you're also trying to convince your family that you're doing comedy for real. So everybody gather around. I'm on TV and we watching that shit. And they give me the crickets. I'm like, Johnny. Get this. I'm not the only one that got the crickets. Several comics got the crickets, like 20 or 30.
Wow.
And so there was a buzz around LA that we were gonna sue BET. Right? So they was like,
I remember that. I remember that.
It was this girl named Kathy Westfield that was in charge of everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kathy was like, Rodney, you got the crickets.
Kathy.
I got the crickets. It's some bullshit. We suing BET, right? And I'm like, yeah. I was still mad. I was like, yeah, fuck it. We suing them. And so I go home and talk to my wife. I'm like, babe, you know, all these comments we're getting together, we suing BET. She's like, why? She's like, I got the crickets. She was like, well, what if you want to work with them again? And just like that, I was like, you're right. I'm not doing that shit. Right? Immediately. I'm like, I'm not doing it. But the mistake I made as a man is I never went back to Kathy and said, hey, I'm not doing it. I just Hollywooded the shit and acting like I just. That when I tell you that lady might still hate me, was like she was a clean comic, but she was like, fuck Rodney Perry, bitch ass.
Whoa. Yeah, I know who she is. We used to do open mics together out here.
Kathy Westfield. Kathy Westfield, you watching the show? I'm so sorry. I didn't come to you as a man and tell you that I wasn't doing this shit. I'm not sorry because I didn't do it. Fuck you. But I should have came to you as a man to be like, I'm not gonna do it, and I did, and I apologize for that.
Yeah. So what happened with that? What was the end result with the rest of them?
I don't know.
Nothing.
I'm sure nothing. They didn't get no $1 million. I bet that.
Right.
You know. Yeah. And so you know, you go on. I probably have done Comic View 8 times after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I became one of those staples on there, and it you know, television. You know, you do Showtime at the Apollo. You do, you know, I mean, I just kind of did all of the black stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And if I could have done anything better in my career, I would have serenaded the mainstream earlier.
Got you. Me and you have talked about that privately. You know, it's interesting, Rodney. It's like our journeys are whatever our journeys are. You know what I mean? And I know for me, I remember Comic View was my first credit. I did Comic View. I hadn't even been doing comedy a year yet, bro.
Who was the host?
DL Hughley was.
You did the very first season.
It was first our second season that he did it, and you got to understand, Def Jam, like you said, when we first started, Def Jam had already taken off, and when Def Jam took off, that's when all these black, Comic View came after that, and if you were black and could tell a joke, you had an opportunity to get on television, no matter how good or bad you was. And to be honest with you, I didn't feel.
Tell them how much Comic View was paying back then.
Oh man, I want to say it was $200.
100 or 200? Because it was 150.
Yeah,
150.
Well, you did it. Oh, so you know what, Rube? When we did it, it might have been 100 for the taping then.
For some reason 200 is my name, but you in my head,
okay,
you could right. But I just remember feeling like I remember doing a set. I want to say it was at either Maverick's Flat or the Comedy Act where they were running the showcases. And the lady who was booked it was like, you got the show, I'm gonna call you with a date. And I was like, I got the show, you gonna call me? Like it didn't even fully register. And I went on there and I'm telling this long story to get back to the whole mainstream urban thing. I remember doing it, having a good set. I remember being asked to do it again and again and again. But somebody gave me some advice like, nah, man, you should be doing different stuff. Like I didn't have any real management to give me any direction. I did know early on that I had the ability to perform for everybody. I did know that because the first 5 years I did comedy, I only did black rooms. That's all I did, first 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I transitioned to the mainstream, Def Jam I did Def Jam later on when it was after Martin, and I just know like Def Jam had this stigma in the industry. Remember they used to try to put all Def Jam
absolutely
in a box, and a manager at the time was just like, yeah, you shouldn't just do urban, you should do this, and I kind of went away from doing Comic View. When I look back, do I regret not doing more sets on Comic View? I don't know, because I was doing mainstream sets also on shows. But when you see the old Comic View clips, I wish I'd have gave Comic View a season set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was seasoned, like you did it 8 times. So anybody who watched from set 1 to set 8, they can see growth.
Yeah.
Growth. You mature. Yeah. If anybody looks at my Comic View set, it's an amateur set, but it played well. Like every once in a while, somebody would see like, hey, you do the joke on Comic View about your father DJing the party. I'm going, dude, I didn't even remember that joke until they reminded me of it.
Wow.
Those are jokes that, when you're first starting, those jokes leave you act pretty quickly unless you write a classic early on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say this, Rodney, what's great about being in this business, and there's no statute of limitations on success, that at any time, either of us can go in any direction we want. You know what I mean? So one thing that I've always done is I'll still dip back in, to the urban rooms just to let people know what time it is. You know what I mean? And then, it just sometimes like you gotta come and do these rooms because it will create more opportunities for you because you are seasoned, and a lot of people a lot of black people know who you are for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One great thing about doing Ruby Tuesdays, and I always used you and a couple of comics as an example, is there's no reason why Johnny Sanchez and Rodney Perry aren't on the same shows, or Rodney Perry, Dane Cook doesn't know who Rodney Perry is, and Rodney Perry doesn't really know who Dane Cook is on a personal level when we all live in the same town. You know what I mean? So I felt like doing Ruby Tuesdays, it was an opportunity, since I work all the rooms, black, white, Latino, whatever, where I can bring the baddest cats from all the rooms, put them on one show
together.
And that would create like a cool network environment and expanding your circle. And that was kind of part of the vision for doing Ruby Tuesdays, because I love it when you get on stage. Go ahead.
The white comics still don't talk to me on Ruby Tuesday.
Really? Because you dip in and out, motherfucker. That's why.
They're like, who is this motherfucker?
Nah. That's like you do the black comic shit. You say goodnight and leave the building like James Brown. That's why.
No, I hang out. Like I was one girl I remember. I thought she was so funny. I walked to her, I was like, man, beautiful set. She was like, oh, thanks.
Well, she didn't know.
Like, I'm trying to be friends with you, bitch. That's not fair though. That's not true, because that, you know, I've definitely made some friends at your room that I wouldn't have met any other way.
Well, the thing that I love is when somebody calls me and goes, yo, what was the one guy's name? Man, he was hilarious. I'm like, that's Rodney Perry. He's been doing comedy over 20 years. He's like, he's a beast. I'm like, yeah, he's been a beast for a long time. You just didn't know who he is. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was just I also too, it's just it's also amazing how consistently it's hard to consistently work in. I mean, stand-up is what we do. That's one thing. You know, once we get a good reputation, it's we can keep working, we can keep doing. But your acting, the consistency you've had with your acting has been really unbelievable. I mean, you've been from what I could see, you've been consistent, dude, since around 2002 or something. Like always working on each year, 1 or 2 or 3 projects that year in television or film. And that is really, really, really hard to do, man.
You know what, Johnny, I realized pretty early that if I wanted people to come see me live, because I'm a stand-up first always. So
sure.
It's always been a means. Acting has always been a means to an end. So I know if I wanted people to come see me, especially black people, if we don't know you, we are not gonna pay to see you do nothing. Blacks and Latinos. So so I was like, okay, I got to get on the box. I got to get on TV. I got to get in the movie. So I got lucky. It was all relationship based though. Whether it was on a vacation, I booked that because Said liked me. You know,
wow.
I had an audition, but you know, having Said go, I like dude, that make a difference.
Well, let me say this, Rodney, not to cut you off, because I think you said something very important. Like, there's no need to quote unquote apologize in a way we're saying, oh, it's relationship based, because what you find out when you're in this journey, that 95% of it is relationship.
Is relationship, man.
All relationships, man.
Ruben and I always talk about this, man. It's like everybody had some help from someone somewhere, and if it's just a recommendation, if it's just so, that's part of it anyway. That has not. But see, we got to remember, he wanted you on there, and he wanted you like, because you were already a strong, great stand-up.
Right.
So you put the work in. You know, we put the work in sometimes for someone to go, you know what, I want this dude on my TV show or in my movie, or her, or whatever. The work, you already did the work prior to that anyway. So you know,
I'll take that.
That's just it's great to, I mean, good for you, man, for, you know, consistently being able to work on TV and film, man. It's a fantastic.
I got a big one coming out this year though. I'm excited.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I saw those. Yeah.
So I booked Coming to America last November. Shot it October. We shot in November, and imagine this, guys, to be on a set with the dude that made you want to do stand up. You know, the guy, the single guy. If I can trace my career back to one person, when I saw Eddie Murphy play Velvet Jones on Saturday Night Live, I was like, that's it. That's what I am. I'm that dude. Whatever that dude is, I'm that.
Wow.
So to walk on the set and Eddie Murphy go, hey, yo, Rodney, how's it going today?
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. So Rodney, we won't hold you. We want to get you out of here. Tell us real quick about your transition, because I tried to talk you out of it because you was my Madden partner and you was my boy. Your transition from LA to Atlanta.
Well, it was a definitely
the transition.
It wasn't a tough decision.
Let me preface it.
Set it up.
Your transition from LA to Atlanta and what that did for your career.
Okay.
For me, it seems like you kind of really took off more when you moved to Atlanta, which is usually the opposite a lot of times for me.
I didn't leave Atlanta. I mean, I didn't leave LA. I got a job, so it's different, cats that come to LA and give up and go home. I didn't do that, So I got a job. So Monique and I become friends, and I did her radio show. And so when her TV show came along, she was like, "Rodney, I want you to come."
Yeah,
it was very simple.
Pause 1 second. When Rodney says Monique, we're talking about Oscar award-winning stand-up comedian actress Monique. Go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I hate when people do that, drop names like that and don't.
Yeah. But
anyway, so when Monique hits me up and I get the show, it was like a no-brainer because other moments in my life that I said, well, let me think about it. I always lost a job. And so I didn't think about it. They said, hey, can you come? I was like, yes. I mean, you should. Yes, I'm coming. When you need me there? Well, they're like, we actually need you in a week. I had 1 week to move my family across country.
I remember.
Wow.
I remember.
Wow.
Get this story. So I get on the phone with BET. The exec hit me up, yo, Rodney Perry, Monique wants you on the show, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but we don't move people. We don't give people money for move. Now, I'm ex-military, so I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm coming. So I talked to Sydney Hicks, Monique's husband. Sydney's like, yo, Rod, how's everything going? You talk to BT? I'm like, yeah, I talked to him, everything's good. He's like, hold up, dog, it don't sound like, you don't sound right. What's up? I said, well, they said they had no money for me to move. He said, what? Let me call you back. This is the same dude everybody says ruining her career.
Okay.
He called. He make a phone call. He called him back 7 minutes later. Hey, Rod, is 20 grand enough to move your family across country?
Yeah. That's what's up.
I think I could do that.
That's what's up.
It might have cost me motherfucking 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But the rest of that.
Because what you left out the story, you had to move your whole family because this whole time you've been fucking.
I'll be fucking. By now I got 6 kids. Yeah. Well, 5, 1 on the way because we was pregnant then with my 10-year-old now. So that's 10 years ago.
Well, Rodney, I love you, brother. You know that. I tell you that on and off air. I appreciate you. Can you tell the listeners like where they can find you, things that you got coming up? We know our world has changed, man. So we just want to connect you with as many people as possible. So once this pandemic is over, that people can actually come out and see you perform live. But until then, they can follow your journey.
RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live on all social media. I'm easy to find. I'm open to meeting new people and building together, man. So let's rock and roll.
And what and as far as I know, you've been pretty dedicated with your social media schedule. What are you doing on social media? Are there any set times that you have that we can tell the listeners?
Well, I do the open mic on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
So my open mic is something I do just on my own page. I will be doing a 15-minute set this Friday on the UMC channel. Watch UMC. And so it'll be me, Tony Roberts, G Thing, and Rip Michaels. And so each one of us are doing 10 to 15 minute sets over there. So that's the weekend, and they paying.
And what it's
like $1,000, man. I'm like, yo, give me that.
Yeah. What format is it going to be? Is it going to be kind of like how the three of them, or is it
I have no idea.
But you know they hey, but you know they paying $1,000.
Yeah. I got my Family Feud cards. I'm ain't no telling what I'm gonna do, but okay. I'm gonna do the time. You know, Ruben, I get hit in the face with a lemon before I wrap it up early.
Yeah. Well, Rodney Perry, we just want to thank you, man.
I've been this dude. Get off the stage.
He has.
I think that's my time.
Hey, Johnny, if Rodney is doing a 20-minute set, you got to light him at 5.
Okay, I got you. I
don't run the light. I don't run the light.
No, I'm just messing with you, Rodney. I'm just messing with you. But real quick before we let you go, a lot of people have been saying hello. Paul Deese has said hello. He said you cheat at Madden. We'll talk about that another time.
Smokey D's?
That's Smokey D's.
Smokey D's. He quit for a good reason.
You got love from Hong Kong in here, and shout out to Gilbert Esquivel and
Gilbert
and all these people. Eddie Hutchinson. A lot of people been showing a lot of love, leaving messages. So thank you again, Rodney. Appreciate you, man, and thank you for being on the Best of Everything. And you could tell your followers that you can find this episode on iTunes,
Spotify,
Google Play,
and YouTube.
I love it. This is dope, dog.
Yeah.
StreamYard. I'm gonna be looking this up. Now, is that y'all logo, that little bird?
No,
that's the StreamYard logo.
Yeah. Oh, that's on your thing. Yeah, on mine, that doesn't show up. But yeah, that's okay. Our logo. When you actually see the promo, you'll see our logo in the promo.
Right, and we're live on Facebook right now too.
We are live on Facebook right now.
So this will it'll keep running. It'll stay on our pages too. So people come and check it out for like the next few days as well, and then it comes out on iTunes.
I've been trying to figure some shit out. I like this.
Hey, by the way, real quick, what's the name of that town again in Nevada where the brothel was?
Winnemucca, Nevada.
Winnemucca, Nevada.
Winnemucca, Nevada. It's a real place. It's a gold mining town, and so the young lady told me she would come there for 3 months of the year and make like $90,000. Owen.
Wow. And that's the lady who let you come inside the brothel.
Inside the brothel.
She let me in her room and talked to me for 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
She said, baby, you can't afford this.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the great Rodney Perry. Thank you for being on the Best of Everything.
Thanks, brother.
And Rodney, love you, boy. We will see you soon, man.
See you on stage, guys.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Ruby motherfucking Tuesdays.
This show is all about diversity and bringing everyone together. You never know who you're going to see at Ruby Tuesdays.